Welcome to AircraftMax. Today, I'm going to teach you about the AircraftMax categories, and I'm going to give you some examples with pictures and descriptions, and even show you an example of why this website is important with a flight school that has a good website and a flight school that has a bad website. So first, you're going to click here to find a flight school. Once you're on the page, you're going to click More under Categories, and it'll list all the categories that we offer. So if you want Aerobatic, Aircraft 2020 or newer, ground school training, high altitude training, private pilot training, whatever you want to select, you click it all, click the search bar, it'll come with a flight school that matches those options. So let's go over Aerobatic Training. So what is Aerobatic Training? It's an aircraft that's heavier than air, and it can do flight, exhibitions, aerobatic competitions, flips, any of these fun aircrafts you see. That's what aerobatic training is. So if there is a flight school that offers that, well, then you select the category there. Now, we have aircrafts 2000 or newer, 2010 or 2020 or newer. So some people, including me, like newer aircrafts. So if you were dead set on a 2020 or newer aircraft, select that box and it'll only show you flight schools in your area or wherever you want that are 2020 or newer. Now, what is Airline Feeder Flight School Program or ATP program? So an ATP program is really pilots that want to go straight from nothing to fast track in their career to an airline pilot. So they have specific programs. This is an example of one ATP Academy that is telling you that you go 9 months from zero to getting ready to be a CFII, which is a certified flight instructor. And they include prices here. So to learn more, go to atpflightschool.com. Now, the next one will be the G1000. So we can go over here. We'll go back to these after. So a G1000, a quick aircraft, is what you see here. It has these two screens. It helps a lot with instrument. What that means is you're flying through clouds or instrument conditions where you can't really see in front of you or you have poor visibility. You can actually use these screens to do flight approaches that will help you land. You can do holds. You can do all these maneuvers in the sky that give you much better spatial awareness. So I love G1000 equipped aircrafts. A difference would be a steam gauge aircraft or an analog based dial system. Let's show you an example of that. So if I have a steam gauge aircraft and I search it in here, as you can see, they have these dials, so it's more difficult to see because it's smaller versus these screens. G1000, these glass cockpit panels are really, really helpful. So next, we'll go back up. So aircraft maintenance, if we have people do maintenance, if the plane has Autopilot, maybe Avionics services, they help fix the equipment. Some flight schools want you to bring your own aircraft or will allow you to. CFI, so Certified Flight Instructor, that is a person who teaches you how to fly. But if you want to learn how to be a teacher, you go to CFI training, or almost like teacher training, and that's what CFI is. CFII is similar because that is Certified Instrument Flight Instructor. So you're teaching people how to use instruments and get their instrument rating. Next is your Commercial Pilot Certificate. That is when you have either 250 hours for a Part 61 program or Part 141 program. Once you complete the syllabus, pass the course, the check ride, you get that training. That's when you get paid to fly. However, when you say paid to fly, the issue is there's not many jobs you can do until you have more hours or more certificates. So a lot of people will go to become a certified flight instructor after they have their commercial pilot certificate. You have complex endorsement training. So what is complex endorsement training? So that is an airplane that has retractable landing gear, flaps, and a controllable pitch propeller. So a lot of aircrafts don't have that, and a lot of flight schools won't teach that. So if you want to find a flight school that will teach that, you click the complex endorsement training. Next is flight reviews that you have to do when you keep up with your training. And a check ride is the actual exam. So if you actually do a check ride, you don't need a flight review. A flight review has to be completed every 24 months. However, like I said, if you do a check ride, it restarts that timer. Next is flight school. That's pretty self-explanatory. Fuel services on site. We want over G1000. So let's unselect these and let's talk about Gold Seal instructors. So what is a Gold Seal instructor? So that is someone who is a flight instructor that after having 10 students take the check ride, the practical test. They have 8 of them who pass on their first try. So if you don't pass your check ride your first try, well, that goes against the instructor. So he's probably or she's probably a very good teacher, so they earn a gold seal, which is very, very well respected in aviation. Now let's go back here. Ground school training, that's when you learn on the ground. You have high altitude training. So what is high altitude training? That's when the aircraft is capable of flying above 25,000 feet. And this is just an online course you can do, but you do training with that aircraft at a flight school, and not all flight schools do that. Next, we have high performance endorsement training. So what is that? So that's an airplane that has an engine power of more than 200 horsepower. Most Cessna 172s have about 180, so it's right below that. So they need to have more than 200 to be high performance, and that is the flight school that will teach that if you select it. Independent flight instructor, there are CFIs or CFIIs who work for themselves, so if you want to find that, you click that. Instrument rating is what I explained before, is that if you want to fly in clouds, poor visibility, using your instruments really to fly when you don't have visual flight rules. And that really means if you can't really see outside and you have to use your instruments to fly that plane, you really should get your instrument rating. And many flight schools actually don't teach that. They just do private pilot training, and their aircrafts are not equipped with instrument training. So if you really want to find a school that has instrument rating training, well, you want to select this box. MEI, multi-engine instructor training, that's if you want to teach people how to fly dual-engine or multi-engine planes. So a multi-engine plane versus a single-engine plane will have 2 engines, or even more than that. And MEI training, that's just if you want to learn how to fly the multi-engine, versus the MEI instructor training, that's if you want to teach that MEI. Private pilot is just your basic license, and that's where you get your private pilot certificate, and that's when you can fly planes with visual flight rules, not instrument rules. So, next, tailwheel endorsement training. So tailwheel endorsement training is like these aircrafts here that it's flipped. So as you can see, the tail, which is the back of the aircraft, has 1 wheel, versus a normal, let's say, a normal tricycle model, like a Cessna 172. I'll show you a picture of that. As you can see, the aircraft has 2 wheels in the back and then 1 wheel in the front. Turboprop training. So what is a turboprop? Aircraft with 1 or more gas turbine engines connected to a gearbox that turns the propellers to move the aircraft on the ground into the air. So very powerful plane. Now, what are type rating trainings? So over here, as you can see, there's category, class, and type. So category is just like airplane, there's gliders, there's other types of categories. But then once you have classes, that's like I just described, single engine versus multi-engine land. However, you have type, and that would be, let's say, this Gulfstream G650, or even a Cessna 172 is a different type. So if you want to do specific types, for example, this one right here, talking about if you want to fly an aircraft with 12,500 pounds, you get your turbojet. They have other types here, and just doing a Google search, you can learn more about type ratings, or just pause the screen and read what we have here. But I just found this by doing a Google search for what is a type rating. Now, we went through the categories. Let me show you a good flight school website or a bad flight school website. This one's great because if I go to courses and pricing, it's very easy to use as soon as I get here. You can see, wow, well, you got a sport pilot certificate, private pilot, instrument, commercial, multi-engine, and CFII and CFI. So we spoke about this a little bit. And look at this. You actually go in here. It tells you a duration, requirements, pricing, even a button to start training. This is perfect. And then you have the fleet over here. And this one here actually shows what aircrafts they have. So this aircraft, let's see one we can play around with. Let's do this one over here. So Tecnam P2006T. We got the features, describes the aircraft. We got the specs. Look at that. Even shows the horsepower. Well, it's not a very fast plane. And then we got pricing over here. So look at that. It even includes tax and fuel, the prices, all that. This is a great site. However, most flight schools are not like this. Most of them look like King Sky. So I go here, I see this, okay, cool photo. Okay, they say type ratings, international students, airline pilot, but Where's the private pilot, instrument training, all that? I mean, I'm seeing similar training. It's hard to tell. I'm seeing this Indian program. It's not super clear. What aircrafts do they have? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I see financing blog. There's nowhere to search. The thing is, I made this website because I wanted it to be quick and easy. So if you go to AircraftMax, you just be like, wow, private pilot. Let's see. I want high altitude training, G1000, flight reviews, CFI, search. Boom, exactly what you need. And that's the goal of AircraftMax, to make your experience as seamless as possible. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.